Okay, as I told you today, we are going to make use of a Jupyter notebook, and it is again a part of Anaconda. You can either directly type Jupyter, it's Jupyter notebook. Here you can see it's a part of Anaconda 3. Okay, or you can also go from Anaconda Navigator. So here's my Anaconda Navigator. I'll just show you this navigator from where I can go and access my notebook. So those who have not installed Anaconda, please install it. There are some assignments which I'm planning. So in the coming week, maybe I'll give you some assignments as well. Now this is my interface for Anaconda Navigator, and you can see these are some applications which are already installed. And there are three more applications which are there which can be installed. So if I click on install here, these applications will get installed. Even R Studio is there. So those who want to do R programming can load R Studio from Anaconda Navigator as well. Okay. So let us quickly go and launch Jupyter Notebook from here. The current version which I have is 6.11. Now it is a web-based interactive computing notebook environment. We using which we can edit or manipulate your notebook programs, the Python programs and all. And basically, it is used more for your machine learning and all. Okay. So when we launch this, I'll get a browser will open. You can see this is my browser and localhost, and you'll get the first page. You can see this one is localhost 888. This is the port number, and this is my local directory. This is my working directory, you can say. Okay, and these are my files which are listed here. Okay. Now to start with writing code in Python, you can just click on New Year and select, because I have Python 3 installed. You can click on Python 3 and a new, you can say a kernel will open where I can write my code. First, just give a simple example. If suppose I want to print something. So I give print into brackets, say hello world. That's and press shift enter and I get the output. Okay, it's very simple. These are your cells, okay, the where we can actually write our code, and immediately I can check my output. Now this is the run command. If you want, you can go and click from here as well. Wherever you want to give some commands or something like I want to write this session will deal with data frames. Okay, and I want this not to be a code window, but markdown. So I can mark this as a markdown. Okay, so you can see this will not get executed. This is not for execution at all. It's just for your notes and so on. Whenever you want to write a code, you can click here and just change it to code. So that you can see this, the square brackets are coming. Yeah, we are not going to do anything like that. Or if your regular commands and all, everything can be given using your hash, or you can use your single quotes, three single quotes, the starting and the end with three single quotes as well. Okay. Now I'll quickly take one small example of data cleaning, especially cleansing you can call it, where we are checking with some values. Especially, I want to show you the function. There are two functions which we discussed last time: is null and not null function to check the missing values in a data frame. And there was a function called fillna, FILLNA. If I want to replace the any n values, any n stands for not a number. Okay, and if I get a number or value like that, NaN, that means there's a missing value there. And whenever we are analyzing the data, we should avoid such values. And there's the reason we need to fill or replace it with some value or the other. Okay, so I'll just import pandas here. Okay, and I'll create a alias for this pandas as PD, and that's default PD is used by everyone. If you want, you can make use of any other name as well, and then we'll also import numpy because I'll be requiring numpy when I create arrays and all. Right now, I'll just import this, and the alias name will be NP. Okay, these are the two packages which I'm importing. Next, I'll be creating a data frame. To create a data frame to pandas, I can write df as my variable in which I'll be storing the data frame. So pd dot data frame into round brackets. Now I'll be creating some 3 rows and 3 columns. So I can simply give np dot random. I'm using the random function from the numpy, and I can create random numbers and fill it in 3 comma 3 array here. Okay, and because I'm converting this whole array into a data frame and then storing it into df. I can also mention that index. By default, the indexes will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me not create the index right now. I'll create the columns first. So columns equal to, I can put it in, pass it as a list. So let's give 1, 2, 3. Okay, and when I want to display this, let us write it here. Okay, and here you can see after I run it, I've got 3 columns here, 1, 2, 3, and these are the random numbers generated to this function random dot rand n. Okay, and this is my default index. Now, suppose I do not want this default index. I want to give some name to my index. I can also give it like this. I can write index equal to, and again I pass a list here. List of values. The values can be given as say A, B, and C. So these are my 3 indices, and when I run this now, you can see now instead of 0, 1, 2, it has changed to ABC. Okay. Now to just show you the NA values or NAN values, I will re-index this. So I can give, I'll make a change here. I can say, I'll change this to C and this is to E. Okay. And here I will re-index this whole thing. So to do the re-indexing, I can write df equal to df dot reindex. Okay, this is the value reindex. Now to get that pop-up of help, you can simply press the tab key and you will get the pop-up with the relevant functions available with the names which you have recently typed. So let me change this to A, B, and C. Okay, and let us check it out. I can run this now and print it. Now you can see this. Now A, because B was not there in my original index, you can see the C was there and I had E. Let us add few more. So I can give D here and I'll go up to E so that my last row is also there. Run this. Here you can see this. So B and D are the two new rows which got added because I have re-indexed it and it has NaN value. Now, if I want to change this NaN value to fill it with say 0, so I can simply write df dot fill na into bracket 0. Okay. And one more thing, please remember, whenever I'm using this fill function, if I do not assign back to df, it is not going to change my original data frame. So I need to write df equal to df dot fill na. When I run now, you can see this has been changed to 0. Now, fill NA can also be used with some other methods. There are methods like, uh, pad and backfill and so on. So if I do not want zero or any other constant value, I want to have the same value which was in the previous cell. Like for example, in this one, if I want to keep this the previous known value in this particular series. Now, please remember one more thing. When we say data frames are nothing but collection of series. So this one column itself is a series here. Okay, so this second series and this is my third series. So the last known value in that series, so for example, this one's minus 0.904821. This will be filled here. So if I want that to happen, I can just mention the method and assign the method called say pad. Okay, this is a function which will help me get the previous known value and fill it here in the NaN values. So when I run this now, you can see this random number which was generated for A has been filled down here. Okay, and similarly for D, the known value was which was filled in uh, index C. This value under 1 that got filled here. Okay, if I do not want this, I want the value which was in C to be stored in B. Now for that we can change this to backfill or Backfill. Okay, and what happens is you can see this now. This the backward it goes backwards and it fills this one. Okay, so using this function fill any, you can take care of all the missing values. If you are not happy with just filling the missing values, there's another way you can just drop all the missing values as well. Because if I try to fill the missing values with some other data, might be your analysis might go wrong. Your graphs might go wrong, and the outcome which you're getting might go wrong. So the best way is either you drop all the missing values. Now to do that, we can change this. Let me simply use the function called drop any. Okay, and the round brackets now because I'm simply assigning bracket to df. Please remember this is important. And now when I run it, I get only this three original, you can say indices which I had A, C, and E, and only three values. Clear? Now here in this example which I took, I had created the data frame. Now you won't be doing that, frequently. You actually what you are going to do is either you are going to read a Excel file, or you might be reading a CSV file. Because when we are doing analysis or whenever we are doing some machine learning, all your data, even if I have to pass a picture and I want to analyze the picture, like let us say, take an example. If I pass a picture of a dog and I want the machine to recognize the picture, whether it is a dog or a wolf or some other animal, in that case, the machine should be in a, you can say, position to read the image and tell me or predict what picture it is. To do that, actually what happens is the picture is converted into a numerical array and then it is stored. And depending on the different patterns and different features, there are some algorithms which are available which helps the machine to recognize the picture. Okay, so everything, whatever we are going to store, will be more of in a array. So that's the reason pandas and NumPy. These are the two important, you can say, packages which are frequently used when we deal with machine learning. Okay, I'll take one more example of data frame where if suppose I want to change a particular value, you realize that the value which I have passed or which I can see in the data frame, I need to replace with some different value. That can also be done. To just take an example, let us say I'll create a data frame here. Say df equal to say pd dot data frame, and I'll create two columns with some few numbers in it. To do that, I can pass a dictionary to this data frame. So let us pass a dictionary. And as you know, dictionary is given in curly brackets, and it's just a collection of keys and values. So the first one will be my key. So one is the key, and the values, if I want to give it, I have to give a colon. followed by the values. Now the values will be passed as a list here. So let me give some values like say 10, 20, 13, or this 12, fine, it's okay, 40 and 50. And I'll give a different value here, which immediately tells me there's something wrong here. Okay. And I'll also pass another column. Say, let us say the other key is C2, followed by the list of values. Let me give say 1000 here, comma say 20, and say 30, 40, and 50 and 60. Okay, so this completes my data frame. If I want to display this data frame, I can run it, and this is my data frame. Now, after looking at the data frame, I realized that there's something wrong with the first value in the second column and the last value in my first column. And I realized that there's some mistake here and I want to replace it. Now, to do the replacement, I can simply make use of the function called replace, which is again available under the data frame. It's a function, so we can simply write df equal to df dot replace into round bracket. And again, in this case, because there are two values which I need to replace, I'll be passing a dictionary parameter. So I'll put the curly brackets followed by the value which I want to replace and the value with which I want to replace. Okay. So I want to search for the value 1000 and replace it with say 10. Okay. Or let's say 12 here. And the second one, I want to search for the number 2000. So this 2000, and I want to replace this by say 60. Okay, and then I display the frame. Here we go. You can see this now. The original values were 2000 that got replaced with 60, and 1000 got replaced with 12. Okay. Now, instead of creating a data frame, let us read a file which is having some data in it. So I have a CSV file which is uploaded. Now I'll go back to my home page here in this. And whenever you want to upload any file from some other place, you can just click on upload. Okay, select the file where, like for example, I am going to make use of this Uber Drives 2006. This is my CSV file which I have the data set. So you can just click on this, click on open, okay, and click on upload. Now, because I already have uploaded this file, you can see I'll get a different message. There is already a file with the name this. Do you want to replace it? Okay, I'm not going to replace it. So I'm just canceling it. But if you do not have this file imported in your working directory, you can do it through this option here, upload button here. And simply it is required. Why it is required? So that, whenever we are opening a file, we need not specify the path, the full path which is required to open the file. I can just mention the name of the file and open it. Okay, so let us quickly open this file and see some what are the different contents in that particular file. One more thing, whenever you're importing your packages, like in this case, I require the pandas package and the numpy, which we have already imported before. But in some cases, you might find there are some functions which are required. You do not require the whole package. In that case, you'll find some code like this as well, say from pandas, import. For example, in the example which I'll be taking now, I'll be opening a file. To open the file, we require the function called read_csv. So what I'll do is I'll import that function from this pandas. So I can write read_csv. Okay. Now, what this statement is going to do is it's from the pandas package. It is going to just import one particular function by the name read_csv and not the other functions as well. Okay. And if I give only import pandas, what happens? The whole package gets imported, irrespective of what you want to use. So everything in the pandas package will be imported in your file, your Python file. Okay, so both the ways, whenever you require, you can either make use of the from keyword from the package import the function, or you can simply import the whole package. Okay, as we have already imported the full package, I do not need to write this import statement. And the reason is because if you remember here at the beginning itself, I have already imported pandas and numpy. Clear? So I won't require to import. If suppose you're creating a new file, already a new file. Now this file which I have created, this file name has untitled form. Okay, and it's a notebook. So Python notebook, it has a different extension altogether. I'll just show you some few notebooks which are installed. Now this is the extension. So IPYNB, that is the extension of your Python notebook. So if I want to store this content, whatever I have written here, I can store it in a file. So I can just click on file and click on save. Okay, either you create a new notebook or you can open a notebook and make a copy, save as whatever you want. You can do it from here. Okay, we will save this file at the end. So coming back to your program, let us open a file. As I showed you, we already have a file called Uber Drives 2006.csv. So I'll write df equal to read a file. I'll make use of pandas. So pd is the alias for pandas. You can also make use of, suppose you're not making, you're just writing the statement import pandas, that's all. And you have not given as a PD and all, right? Or any alias for pandas. You can, instead of that, you can make use of pandas here, dot, and you can read the CSV file. CSV into bracket, and you specify the name of the file like this. So even this will work here. Okay. If you have not imported or if you have not used any alias. Because we have already done it. So I'm going to make use of pv.read.csv. In double quotes, specify the name of the file. The name of the file is Uber Drives 2016.csv. I hope that's the name. Let me just reconfirm it. Uber, so it will be here somewhere under U. Okay, here it is. So Uber, if you want, you can also click on this to see the contents. Now this is my contents. You can see this first row is my headings, column headings. So I have start date, end date, category, start, stop, miles, and purpose. So this actually gives me the data of the traveling, the drives of Uber, and the date when they start, the end date, category. The start is the city from where they are actually taking up the Uber drive, and stop is the destination. Miles, the distance which it is covered. Okay, so this is my file. I'll just close this back and come back here to my notebook. And once I read this, let me display the contents of all the file. So I'll run this. Here we go. And this is my data. And if you notice, there are around 1,156 rows with 7 columns. And not all the data is displayed. You can see there's some dots here. Now, if I do not want to display everything, I can also make use of the function called head. It just gives me the first few rows. In this case, it will give me 5 rows. So when I run this now, you can observe this. The first 5 rows has been displayed. And you just get an idea of what are the contents in my file and what are the column headings and so on. The name of the columns, here it is start underscore date start. So even this asterisk is a part of the column heading. Okay. If I want to see the first 10 records, we can also mention in the parameter, I can give n equal to say 10. And when I run this, I get the first 10 records. So you can see it's starting, the index is starting from 0 up to 9. Okay. Now this is my index. By default, it is always going to start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Clear? This is my date. If I want to check whether, okay, whenever you read some file, it is not necessary that that file might come with the column heading. Okay, now in this case, I did had a column heading, but it can happen that the column heading is missing. So if you want to specify the column headings, you can do that. You can add the column heading. You can also check whether there is a column heading or not. To do that, we can make use of a function called as attr attribute into round bracket under df, and I can give you a head. So it will just give me true or false to check whether the header is there or not. Now in this case, I do have a header, so it's giving me head as a true. And there's also another function where the this head function, like in this case, this is a function which I have called, right? df dot head into bracket, I've given n equal to 10. So I'm making a call to the function called head, and I'm displaying the 10 records, the first 10 records. So if I want to know whether this head function is callable or not, so I can make use of a function called callable, and I can give this get a ttr attribute into bracket df comma head. Okay, and even this will give me true or false. You can see, so it is callable, right? Similarly, like head, we also have a function called tail. If I want to see the last few records, that will give me an idea what I have. So it's around brackets, and here we go. I have the last. Okay, the last row is a bit different. Here we have a total row, and there are some NaN, not a number values, and the miles as well. The total miles is given. Clear. So a head tail can help me, find the few records. I can see the records. There's a function called shape, which we have already done before to understand what the DF looks like. So the number of records, let us say shape, and I can run this. Here you can see the number of rows and the number of columns. So I have 1,156 rows and around 7 columns in it. Okay, so these are some few functions. Let us understand how, if I want to know what are the data types which is there in my data frame. So d types is the function which will help me understand what are the different data types. So d types, and just sorry, I missed on the round brackets. It's not dt, it's df. So df. I hope this is round brackets not required. Yes. So if you look at the different data types, all of them are object except for one, that's miles is float 64, whereas the others, even the date field is considered as an object. Now objects are nothing but your strings here. Okay, so do not get confused with this word strings and objects. Objects means nothing but your strings. Now if I want to especially change this data types, because whenever I want to do some operations on say date, I want to find the minimum date and the maximum date or something like that, or do some subtraction of dates. I won't be able to do it because your data type is of object type. So I need to change the object to date time data type. Now to take an example, I'll just create a data frame, a temporary data frame on which I'll show you how to, so I'll create a temporary data frame temp equal to ed dot data frame, and here I'll pass as a dictionary. I'm creating a dictionary as a parameter here with some values, and we will see how to change the data types. So if I have, say, in numbers 1, 2, 3, so I have only 3 rows here. Then I'll put another column, say B, and here I'll pass numerical values, so 11, 12, and 13. And I'll keep one more as for date. So C is my column heading. And again, as a list, I'm going to pass the dates. Say 06, 2020, comma, say some few more. Let's give 13, 06, and I'll give say 2019 here. And one more, last one, say 14/06/2018. Okay, this is my There's no error. There's some problem here. The colon, there's a problem with the colon. Okay, I have not closed this one, so this has to be closed here. Now let's run this again. There's a problem this time at the end. So this one, this goes, yeah, it's running. So I can just display temp, and that's my data. Okay, and if I want to know the D types, the data types, I can find types, EY types. Okay, so here you can see the first one is object, the second one is integer, and the third one is an object. Now let us change this. So I have temp. What is in C? We have date. So I want to change this to date time. So I can give you a C. Yeah, it is capital. So I give capital C. This one equal to. The function is to date time. So it is available under the pandas PD. So I'll use PD dot to underscore date time. Okay, and I can pass the parameter again, which is temp and C. Okay, this one, and I'll also change A as well so that we can complete it in one go. PD dot to numeric into bracket temp square bracket, and A is my column name. Okay, I hope it works, and I'll also try to display the details. So let's run this. Yeah, fine. Here you can see, A has been changed to numeric, and the last one, C, is changed to date time now. Okay, now same thing can happen, same thing can be done in your data frame as well. The one which DF, which we have created before, where we are reading the content from the file. Okay, there's another way of converting the date format. There are different types of formats which are available in date format. Now, one way is I can make use of to date time function again and pass a format for the. Let us do it in the data frame. So what I can do is I can write PD dot to underscore date time. Okay, in the round brackets. Now I have to change the date. So the start date, end date, I need to change it. So let us do it for the start date first. So I can give df square bracket, the name of my column, which is start underscore date, and asterisk is there. Okay, and complete this square bracket, comma. Now I'll be specifying the format here, format equal to, and in single quote, I can give MDNY. So month, you need to give %M. Okay, then I want a slash, then %D, again a slash, and %Y. Now, why I want in say 4 characters, so I'll give a capital Y here. I also want the hours and the minutes, so I'll give %H. H should be capital here, colon %M. M is also capital. Okay, and there's one parameter, additional parameter is suppose it's not able to convert that date or the content into a date format. Some error might occur. Now to take care of that error, I can write errors equal to course, CORERCE. Okay, and now when I say df dot types, I should be able to get the format. Okay, what's the error now? Df d types. Okay, here we go. Okay, I have not assigned it to df, so I can write df square bracket in double quotes start underscore date an asterisk. Okay, here you can see now. Okay, just by just giving the function, that doesn't mean it is going to change it to date time. I have to reassign it to my data frame. Only then it is going to change. So now my start date has changed to date time type, so that I can perform any offices. Similarly, you can do it for your end date. So quickly, I'll just change this one itself. I can copy this, Control C, and paste it here, and change this to end date. End date, even this one, end date. Okay, and now when I run this, you can see both my dates have now been changed. Clear? Now there are some functions through which I can see the summary of all the methods of my data frame. Let us see that. I'll come down here. The function name is describe, so it's df.describe, and you can see include all as a parameter. So it will give me all the information regarding what's wrong now. I hope it is input. Let us give only describe. Okay. Now it gives me the count, the number of records, the mean value, then the standard deviation, min 25%, and so on. Right. Then we also have something called, if I want to know the overall information, so I can give here